All right. Well, seeing how it's 2 o'clock, let's get started. Just so you know, this session is being recorded. Feel like we haven't had one of those for a little while, and I must apologize for delaying the last one at some other emergencies to take care of at work. Anyway, we're here now, and I'm super excited to give you some information about Hub because everybody that has an ArcGIS online creator license can technically build a Hub. The state is very fortunate that we have premium Hub this year, so there's some additional capabilities that we can take advantage of right now, and this is courtesy of the Department of Health and Welfare. It's paid for until February next year. So if you're not using it, this might just even be an opportune time just to try it out, just to see if this is something that is worthwhile to you. So that next year, when we have to decide what to do with this license, we can make an informed decision if this is helpful, beneficial, or if we should just cancel that license. Anyway, we have it now. So for those folks, for example, water resources, fish and game, who are not currently part of our organization, uh, technically, as soon as you get like a license, just one license on our organization, you should be able to use that. And I believe that's how it currently works. I think in the future, they're going to make it even a little bit easier where you might not even have to purchase a license. So those are the things I'm going to talk about. The agenda looks a little bit different this time. In essence, we're going to be talking about three different sort of things you can do with Hub. We are going to build two different Hub sites during the next hour and a half, 2 hours that do different things. And then the third one, I'm going to probably just do as a demonstration. So we'll start out just very briefly what Hub is. And then the first application of Hub is we're basically going to put together a website using Hub that you can link to your own website and bring in some really rich content. So in some ways, Hub and story maps, and I would say even experience builder are sort of like similar in that for all three of them, you can build like beautiful websites. And so this is one of the three. I think it just comes, from different angles and they all have slightly different capabilities. But I think you can do some really cool stuff with that. So at the same time, while we built this website, it sort of gets you familiar with the different cards that are available in Hub and so on. So the second very common application of Hub is to build an open data site. So for the second part, we'll actually build a functioning open data site. And finally, and this is especially where the Hub Premium comes in, we can talk about collaboration tools. Because when they first built Hub, earlier I mentioned it's really quite similar to like story maps and even experience builder. But the sort of key difference is that for Hub, the way that they approach it is from like an initiative. So you have a project, an initiative. So you might have a collection of maps and apps and web content and surveys that sort of go around maybe solving a specific problem. And so you will see that every Hub site is actually referred to as an initiative. And that's where that last part, the collaboration part, really comes in. Because if you have an initiative, for example, like, fighting hunger or, cleaning up the streets, quite often you need volunteers and you have other people that you're working with. And so that was one of the reasons why we actually got Hub Premium here in the first place to help us, actually to help the Department of Health and Welfare with their vaccine planning and vaccine distribution. So there's actually a Hub site out there that we built with a lot of tools that are like that. And so one of the benefits of the collaboration is that you can give people Hub licenses, which are essentially regular creator licenses. They are, full-blown creator licenses actually, but instead of being $500 a piece, or if you're part of our organization, $200 a piece, They're just $1 a piece. So we'll get into that a little bit more later. So this is the schedule. We'll see how far we get. I already started talking about what Hub is. So it's really just a website that you can create with maps, apps, graphs, surveys, statistics, and all sorts of other content. You can build open data sites, and then it's a sort of a communication tool with the community and volunteers. And so you can build them for all three different purposes. And like I said, they're built around initiatives. So with that, let's get started. I sent out a workbook this morning. So if you want to follow along, just open that up. If not, then just watch me go through the workbook. All right, so the first part is we need to open up a browser. And let's just open up Arcgis Online. So I'll go ahead and sign in. Alrighty, there we go. Because to show anything in the first hub site that we are building, we obviously need to have some content in there. And a great way, and actually a good way to organize that content is by putting it in a group. Because then we can basically tell the hub site later on, okay, go look in this group for content. So let's start with that. Let's set up a new group just for our hub site. So I'll click on groups, and I will go ahead and create one. Now, since many of you are on our organizational account and we don't want to create a whole lot of different groups all with the same name, if you can put your initials somewhere in the name of the group. So I'll just call this Getting Started with Hub Group, and I'll just put my initials at the end. All right, so the purpose would really is to get started with Hub. And for my tags, I'll just put in Hub, and I'd like to put in temp. I think that's a sort of a practice that's been working well for me. Anytime I'm just trying out something new, and I know it's just temporary, it's not meant to go in production, I just put in the tag temp. So later on, when I'm trying to clear out my Arcgis Online account, which you should do occasionally since any storage costs credit, I just do a search for temp, and then I just feel comfortable that I can delete everything that has this tag in it. All right, so with that, I will go ahead and save that. All right, so I'll go on a different tab here. So leave this one open. Let's go to a second one. And I want to go to the Living Atlas. And I bet if I just put it in Bing or Google, it will take me there. Yep, that's the one, the Living Atlas, arcgis.com. And I want you to do a search for live stream Arcgis. I think as a tribute to my previous job at Water Resources, this entire hub is very water oriented. Okay, so if you're following along on the workbook, we are now on slide number 6 on page 3. This is the one I would like you to work with further. And then when you click on the 3 dots here, and I don't know if there's a special name for it. I had a discussion with this with somebody from the library commission. You know, you have your waffles, which we'll click on in a little bit, and then you have your dots and your stack of pancakes. So maybe this is a croissant right here. Okay, so let's open this up in a map viewer. All right, so I am going to zoom out a little bit and move over to Idaho. I could probably also just type in Idaho here and then just go right there. All right, so I centered it in Idaho. And then let's click save, and I'm gonna save as. Most of this is already good to me, but just add your initials at the end. So again, our organization doesn't have like 20 maps with the same name on it. And for the tag, just add in temp or temporary. So, you know, it's just for class purposes and it's safe to delete later on. All right, so with that, I'm going to save this. So this could be one of the maps that we can later on display in our hub. All right, so since we just created a group, let's go ahead and share this. So I just clicked on the share button right there. And I have this little pesky, oh, here, I can move that away. Okay, I just clicked on the share button. And so for now, I am sharing it with that group that I just set up for the hub. And I have to remember what I called it. Oh, here, getting started with hub group and then my initials. Okay. So I'll click done on that. And then just to put something else in our group, let's just go ahead and also just make a quick little app out of this map as well. So again, click on share. And this time I'm going to create a web app. Just to do something very quickly, I'll just go ahead and click on a media map, create the web app. Just change my title just a little bit here. My temp tag is still there. And then it says here, share this app the same way as the map. So it will be shared with the same group. So later on, when we're pointing back to this group from the hub, it should find both a map and an app. All right, so let's click done on that. So it should be pretty quick to turn this into an app. It has always some good tips in it. So I've got that. And then for step 1, I can just click next. For step 2, turn on the legends and enable the hover pop-up. For the 3rd step, turn all the sliders off except for the layer list and the search. And I'll turn off the social sharing too. And that brings me to the last step, which is all looking good. So I'll go ahead and publish this and confirm that. Okay. So I think we're ready to leave ArcGIS Online behind us for a little bit and focus on the hub. So this is the little app that we just built. Okay, so let me go back to ArcGIS Online. So either the tab where you were configuring your web application, or let's see here, this is the living atlas, so that's not going to work. This is a good one. Yeah, let's just use this one here. All right. When you look near the top, right next to your name, you can see those waffles. So let's go ahead and click on the waffles. And from here, you can get into your hub. Okay, so you can see that we have some recent initiatives. I wanted to see the entire list of initiatives. I can go to the top left here and look at all the events, initiatives, and content that has been placed in the initiatives that we have so far. So if I go to my overview here, you can see that we have quite a few number of initiatives. So I'll click on initiatives. But what we would like to do is create a new one. And actually, before we go, let me just quickly run through the different options here. So the overview was the landing page we just got on. This is just a list of different websites, open data sites I'll refer to as initiatives. The next one, just all the content that can be found in those initiatives. And this is all controlled by groups. I mean, I'm seeing a lot because I'm an administrator for our organization. But this would only be, visible if this has actually been shared with you. Events. So any events that have been set up. So this is actually one that I set up just as an example for this class. A community. So that could include both members from your organizational account or members that have like special Hub Premium licenses or the Hub Premium accounts. And then finally, settings where I can sort of basically just set the name of our Hub account and so on. All right, but with that, let's just go ahead and create a new Hub site. So let's start in the top right corner and click on New Initiative. And we'll give it a name. So I'm just going to call it the Hub Workshop. And make sure you put your initials in here. All right. So for those that are on my organization, I'll just go in about a week. And if there's any, floating around from this class, I might just get rid of them unless you want to, keep them. All right. And then just click on Create Initiative. So this usually takes about 20-30 seconds. All right, complete. Excellent. And now it should just pop it up. Okay, so this kind of gives you some different elements that I can put on there, and most of them we'll be talking about today. So I'm just going to X out of that. And I am going to look at all the different items on the list here on the left. So if you can click on Settings first, and see, as soon as I click there, this Customize appeared. So this is how I can basically go back and forth between a specific area and back to the main tab. So starting with the settings, we've given it a name. Let's see here, we'll just give it a little summary. My first Hub site. All right, the custom Favicon. For example, here you can see it has like a special symbol here. Bing has one too. Those are favicons, like the little icons that appear on the browser tabs. You can specify the default base map. For tracking and consent, we can do activity tracking. So in a way that's kind of nice, like with Hub Premium, I can actually pull up a dashboard for each initiative and see how many people are participating, kind of see over time the usage of the site. Let's see, the domain settings, I've never really done much without that. Interaction, so let me see here if we allow people to have a follow tab in there. We'll get about that a little bit later on. So one sort of problem I have, and I need the help of everybody using Hub on our site when people start using those licenses that come with the Hub Premium. I've had people just sign themselves up. The problem is that they're done really hard to keep track of because I just have a name, but I don't know which Hub site they signed themselves up on, if they have any privileges anywhere. I guess I could go in the back end and find it out, but for now, for administrative purposes, if you start or if you need to hand out those licenses, let me know. I like to name them a specific way so I can kind of, just by looking at the name, tie them back to the agency that's, working with this person. All right. So this is all good. This is what is allowed or not. The data, if you want to use the standard projection or your own projection or coordinate system, and then for beta, it's kind of cool. They have this new thing called site translation. So let's turn it on. And those are the settings. So to get back to the main menu, I'll just click back on Customize, and then I can set the next one. Okay, so next let's set our theme, which essentially is to set our colors. So the global navigation background color is currently white. If we want, we can make that a different color. I'm a big fan of aquamarine. So let's make that just a little bit lighter. The nice part is it gives you like the number for this particular color. So let's say, for example, that I wanted to use the same color for the header text color or the body background color. And actually, I'm gonna make it the same for the header background color. So it's really easy just to copy those colors over from one to another. So most of them actually look pretty good to me. Let me make this one maybe just like a darkish green, but you can just pick the colors that you want. You can see the colors just changing as we go along. And so I can see this is kind of dark, so I'll just go ahead and turn my body color into white, which is a whole bunch of Fs. There we go, just to make it easier to see. So you can really use your own colors. So one trick I had, for example, when I build a site and I try to match the colors on our agency website, a really handy trick is to go into PowerPoint and copy just a little piece from your website, like just the color that you want, copy and paste it into PowerPoint. And then when you go into PowerPoint, you can use like the eyedropper tool to basically find that color, and it will give you this code right here. And then you can just make sure that you are using the exact same colors. Okay, so I think this is all looking good. So as you can tell, some of the colors here changed. I mean, the header changed, the rows changed, but this one here is still the same color. So when you look here, and we'll be using this trick a lot, you can see there's a pencil right along the top, but there's also one on the right. So this is actually two elements, one put inside the other. So this one here controls, it's referred to as the row, which is in this entire box, and they drop the text field into the box. So this controls the text, this controls the box. So when we click on the pencil there to change it, we can just go ahead and change the background color, and maybe something more similar to what we had earlier. Also, what I typically have, I have on the side like what is it, a notepad, and I just kind of copy my colors over just any kind of items that I feel I might need later. So the colors would be a big thing there. So we can change that, and let's go ahead and just save what we currently have. All right, so we arrived at slide 15, and I'm just gonna click back to layout and customize. We are working on the theme still. Okay, when I go down, that's where I needed to go. We can pick font colors. So the base font, so that's all the little writing here. The header font, for example, our progress so far. So let's start with the heading font. So I'll just click my open utilities here, my heading font. And so this is kind of neat. So when you go to Google Fonts, and you can get there just by clicking on this Browse Their Collection link. Let's see, probably went right underneath there. Okay, so there are a whole bunch of different fonts that we can choose from. So let's say that I want to pick the Limelight. What I need to do then, once I figure out that that's what I want, I am going to take this example, and I'll keep it up until here. I'll paste it in here, and then the family was called Limelight. And then here again, it's asking me for the Limelight, and then I am going to hit apply. And you can see that the font changed there. So let's do the same for the base font. So I'll just click on the settings here. Now it's asking me for the base font. I believe I still have my Google up, and let's pick one that we like. There's a lot to choose from. And I think, let's see, which one did I put in here? I like the railway. So that's one of the ones that is in here. But you can pick any kind of word, pick any of them, and then you can use that. So back in here, I'll go ahead and copy part of the example, put it in there, and then my font was called Railway. And I'll put that in the bottom again as my font family, and I'll hit apply. And then it made those changes. So you have a lot of control over your size. You know, you can pick all the colors, you can pick the fonts. There's a lot you can do. Okay, so I think we got the theme pretty much worked out. So next let's start working on the header. So right now, the header is kind of hidden back here, but it's this little portion here that we're going to be working on. So let me go back here, back to customize. That should give me the chance to go to the header. So I can choose to have the standard header. If I go down to provenance, you can see this bar here is just getting a little bit bigger. This might be something, for example, if you have a whole bunch of logos or pictures that you would like to just put in the header yourself. And this is also something like if you start building more pages associated with this hub site, this header will basically just be replicated everywhere. Okay, but I like the standard one here. For the layout, I can choose white or box. Box sort of contains it. White sort of like expands it to the size of your mobile device or your computer or whatever you're looking at it. This will become very apparent when we start including some maps in here. All right, so let's take a look at the branding. So the name sounds good to me. The short name, if this was like a really long name, and it might be kind of hard to show that on a little mobile device, you could just put a shorter name in here, and then it would replace the long name with the short name automatically if the device is too small to display the long name. All right, so for the logo, we need to upload something. So let's go to pixie.org. And pick anything, but I'm going to see if they have a car crash dummy. Nope. Let's see, what did I search for in my text here? Oh, test dummy. There we go. Who's the dummy now? All right, this one here. So I'll just right click on the image I want. I'll choose save image as. And then I can just put it in my downloads, that's fine. And I'll just call it dummy. I'll save that. So I can go back to my hub site, upload it, browse for the image, and then when I go to my downloads, there's my dummy. All right. Let's see. The menu we'll be doing a little bit later on, but you can put additional links in your header. And so, for example, one link that I can put in, not existing content, I can just put a link in to my own website, for example. Oh, that is the destination. Let's see, HTTPS. Oh, I got those pointing the wrong way. And I'll just type in here gis.idaho.gov. That should take us there. Okay. And I'd like to open it in a new tab. Even though the accessibility tip says it's not recommended. Sometimes it's just hard to get back to previous pages, I find. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and save that. So now my header, and I know it's a little hard to see because it has some other stuff with it. Okay. Okay. No. Here you can tell that the little logo showed up, and also this link here showed up, which then if I click on it should take me to another website. Now probably if I try this right now, it's not going to work because this is like a draft. It's not actually been published. So as soon as you publish it, it will work. All right, so I think we made it to slide 19. I think I've done that. Okay, social icons. So if you have, a Facebook page, Twitter, anything that is related to your initiative, you can engage those here and then basically put your Facebook URL there. So you can connect it, any of those, and then the little Facebook icon will appear on the corner of your hub site. All right, so I think we're good there. I'll just go and hit save again. All right, so for the appearance, we could choose between the standard and the prominent, and we pick the standard. If you want to get into this more and you want to customize this more, different areas of the hub allow you to really put in your own custom code. So this is one of those areas where you can go in and actually change the HTML code associated with your page. I mean, your HTML as well as the CSS code that is associated with this. So you can fiddle with that and customize it even more. Okay, so moving on. So we're up to 8. Let's create a footer. And here we will fiddle a little bit with the HTML code. All right. So you can tell here's the footer, like it's a bunch of URLs, a little box here, unsplash, terms of service, private policy. I mean, you can just take it all out in one fell swoop. Or if you want to customize it, you need to start working with the HTML code that's there. They have those handy little arrows to pop it out for you. And so here, let's just cancel here. You notice the 4 URLs right there. Those are the 4 URLs that you see right over here. So for one of them, let me just put in ours, HTTPS. Hopefully, nope, still did it wrong. The other way. TIS.idaho.gov. All right, and let me just take the other 3 out. And then I'll hit apply and see what it does. So it took out the other ones. And so you can start modifying this here. When your apply button is grayed out, it just means is that your HTML is not correct. If that happens, start looking and make sure that for every starting tag, for example, this div here, there's also an ending tag. Usually it just doesn't work because they're out of whack. It's like parentheses. You got to make sure that you have the same tags open up and then close again later on. And so here you can see the terms of service, privacy policy. If you're not interested in having any of that, then just take it out, hit apply, and now it's gone. So a lot of flexibility right there as well. Okay, so we've done that. And so let's just go ahead and really simplify the footer. So if you look on slide 23, you can tell that I have really taken out a lot of content here. So as a matter of fact, I think we're okay with this. I think we don't have to dwell on it more. But if you use the code in the workbook, it's just very simple and very short. All right, so let's click cancel on that. So let's start working on the layout. Okay, so this is where the fun starts. When you click here, it gives you all sorts of cards that you can click on and then drag into your website. So let's start with the picture at the very top. And let's see if we can replace this with something else. Since this is going to be mostly like a water related hub site, we need to replace that. Let's start by changing the text right here. So what will this initiative achieve if successful? Well, I will have learned how to use the hub. Learning how to use hub. All right. Okay, and so we can just click anywhere. We can, change the size of it or anything that we would want to do. And then I also would like to replace this picture. So when I click here on the right-hand side of the picture here, you can tell I am inside a row element. So basically what this is, it's a row that's been completely filled with a picture and then a text field put on top of it. But to fill up the row, it asks you for the background image. And so let's upload a new one. So back to pixie.org and let's do a search for Snake River. That seems very watery and very Idaho. And pick, of course, any picture you like. I am going to, actually, I'm going to pick this one this time. It's not the same as in your workbook, but just to do something different. I'll just click Save Image As. Downloads is fine. I'm just going to call it the Snake River and save that. Okay. So back to my hub. Here we go. I can click on Upload, browse for an image, and I should be able to find it in my downloads. And I'll just open that up. So from here on, I have a number of options. So I can change my image transparency. And this is really helpful because you want to make sure that your wording that you have here has a nice contrast with your picture so people can see it easily. And so, for example, if you have white text, I can actually make this just a little bit lighter or darker. So now it's less transparent or more transparent. See how it got all darker? So you can find like the right combination where you can see the picture well, but you can also see the text on top of the picture as well. You can change the focal point of the picture. So, pick the prettiest one. And that's it. Let's see under visibility here. That looks all good to me. All right. So we fixed up this piece right here. So we've done the top image. Let's just go ahead and save your hub. So right now, if I were to look at this, so if I were to go to View Published, okay. Come on. Ah! It's, oh, I guess I need to save it first. It's telling me I'm doing something wrong. Okay. Nope, still doesn't want to go there. I guess it doesn't want to do it because you have to publish your draft first before you can see it. So it will happen to you sooner or later where you're like, hey, I did all this work. I'm looking on my hub, but I don't see any of the changes that I just made. And then you go back to your hub site and you're like, well, but there it is. I saved it. What's wrong? So there's that middle step that you need to publish it before you can actually view it. So there we go. Let's just publish it. And you can tell it's publishing because it has this little green bar go across. All right, and now I should be able to see the published version. There we go. All right. So you can see the picture was updated, the colors have been updated. I can tell there's a whole bunch of extra context there. I'm not sure where they came from, but we have started making some changes. Now, when you're in this view here, it's really easy to get back to your editing mode. Just click on the left and click on edit, and it will take you right back here. All right, so let's go ahead and move up to slide 29. So let's change some of the text here. So we've done this a little bit earlier, but it's as easy as just highlighting it and just changing the text. This is my first website. And I can change the size of it by clicking over here. Now, what if I wanted to change the color? I mean, as far as I can tell, there's no button here to actually change the color. So this is another one where I can tell that I have a text card and then a row card that this text is dropped into. So when I click and I change the row card here, just earlier where we changed the color of this piece right there, I can also go in here and actually just change the color of my text. White's not bad, so I'm just gonna stick with that. Okay. Okay, moving on. So I'd like to start with a more clean, empty site so you can see it as it is being built. So I am going ahead, and if you stick to the right-hand side, you can get rid of most of it. I'll just go ahead and remove all the different elements that I see. So when you start a new initiative, I mean, there's a dizzying array of templates that you can choose from. And, you know, even as you can see, and also let me just turn the bottom off. It's not super duper pretty. So footer, and I'll just turn that into none. Okay. All right, so now we've got a pretty empty site where we can start filling in some information. Okay, so on slide 32, let's add in your own row. I've mentioned how it's nice for, you're clicking on layout here, for organizing your content. So let's put one in. There's my empty row. And as I did that, maybe I did it a little fast. So as I grabbed the row, you saw all the white little handles, right? And I can, you know, hover my mouse over that and it will just insert the row wherever I put this. Okay. So for the first one, let's put a map in this row right here. So on the left-hand side, let me look for the map card. And I can just drag that like straight in the middle here. And then it will give me the options on the left-hand side to work on a map. So it's asking me which map I would like. So I'll just pick it out from my content. And I'm just gonna grab the map that I grabbed earlier from the Living Atlas. So this one right here, let me select that. All right, so as soon as I put that in, I have a couple more options. So live stream gauges, and then source is the USGS. I can change the height of it. So instead of 500, might be nice just to make it a little bit bigger so it's more, fills up the screen for people. And I'm doing this on a little laptop, hence it looks a little bit small. I'd like to have a map legend. So that should pop up, there it is. And maybe I'll make the height just a little bit less so it fits better on my, my laptop. And then if this is a map that's not super crucial, but just takes up a lot of space, you can even set it to hide this map on a mobile phone. Okay, So I think we got this piece done. Let's just go ahead and save that. So next, let's add in some statistics. All right, so that is slide 35. So back to layout. I'd like to do everything in a row, and maybe I'd like to put the statistics up above here. So let me grab a row card and put it right in between here. And so once I have that, I would like to put in two statistics, one of them that shows the total number of gauges in this data set on the map that you see below here. And the other one, I want to count the same gauges, but only those that have a flow that is greater than 100 cubic feet per second. So to put that in, we need a summary statistic. And I'm just going to go ahead and put two of them in, because they're going to go right next to each other. So there's one. And here I'm going to put the second one in the row, and I'll just put it to the left. So we've got two of them right there. Okay, so let's work on the first one. And so on the left-hand side, you can see I'm working on the options for the statistic. And so it's asking me, okay, what data would you like to use? And so what I would like to use is that actual layer that's behind that map, which I didn't, it's not in my content. It's basically still pointing to that layer on the living atlas. So when I look, I really should be looking at the world layer. And a good keyword to actually find it quickly is live stream gauge, and it's the one that is published by Esri. It's this data right here. So I'll click that, and then I'll go ahead and select that. Okay, so then I need to tell it, okay, what is it? What statistic do you want to show in this data set? So it's already set to count, but let me just grab the object ID field because they're unique throughout there, and I'll say, okay, count those, count all the object IDs. I mean, if I wanted to, I can even just, put in the CFS, flow CFS, and I can have it be the maximum, or I can have it be like the lowest or the average or anything like that. Okay, but in this case, let's just put in a count. All right, so we'll do the find by attributes for the second one when we put a filter on it. But for appearance sake, here is the statistics title. So let's call this one the number of gauges in US. And for the trailing text, that's going to go right there. I'll just put my source in there. Source is the USGS Esri live feed. And then, since I've already put in the source, I'll take this one out. All right, there's my first statistic. So with that, let's take a look at the second one here. So I need to pick data again. So let me do another search on live stream gauges, Esri. Oh, well, it didn't find it because it's not on my content. Okay, and I'll just, if I put Esri at the end, it will give me the right one. Just fill in the bubble. I'll select that. Okay, so what I want to do is show the count again of my object ID. So that gives me the same number. And then filter by attributes. So what I'm going to do is pick the flow CFS. I'll add that. And then it's going to ask me, okay, so what is it you want to show? So I'll just put in like 100 at the minimum. And when we were looking at the maximum earlier, it was like 10 million. So I'll just put in a whole bunch of zeros to make sure that I've surpassed that. And so now I have the number of stream gauges that is registering more than 100 cubic feet per second. For the appearance, I still need to fix up the title a little bit. And so the title would be gauges with flow over 100 cubic feet per second. For the trailing text, I can put in source, USGS, ESRI, light feed. And then because I put the source in, I can just take that out. And now I have some statistics. So this is kind of neat because it's a good way when people look at your site just to have some eye-grabbing statistics there that sort of encapsulate, especially if this is an initiative where you're making progress. So you can put in something like 20% progress or 80% progress, or when you're planting trees, 100,000 trees planted. Any kind of statistic that gets people excited and engaged. All right. So next, let's add in. Oh, we've done the statistics cards. Let's add in a application. All right. So let's put that in a row underneath here. So back to layout. Let's grab a row and drop it in below here. All right, and then we need to find an application card. So let's move that in here as well. And then we need to find an application. So let me click here, select an application. And I would like to go back to world public of type story map. And let's see if there's anything out there related to Idaho water. And so yes, there is. So pick any of those three. I'm gonna pick the first one, the Idaho Water Transactions Program, because it is a beautiful story map. So kudos to the folks who put that together. Let's click select here and let's put that in. All right, so let's take a look and see what's happening and what this looks like in published form. So I'll just go ahead and save it. I'm going to publish it. Oh boy. There we go. Well, some of my WebEx tools were in the way. I think that was the problem. And then let's view it published. Okay, so not sure what all this about is, or contact is about. So there's the stats. That looks pretty good. There's my map, and then here is the story map. So I would say a couple of things right off the bat is that there's some, unused space here on either side. And I would also say that this story map is kind of crunched, and so maybe we can have it appear a little bit bigger on the screen. So let me click back on the pencil, and we can just fix those issues in our hub right here. Okay. So first, let's deal with the issue of this not taking up the full width. So this has to do with the row setting. So remember, those are the options for the actual map. The row where it sits in is controlled by the pencil on the right. And so here we can choose if we want to box it or if we want to make it white. See what happened there? Okay, so let's go down and let's do the same thing here. And I click on the pencil for the row. I'm going to make this white. Now, I want to make the app a little bit taller. So that is actually a setting of the app itself. So let's click on the pencil for the app itself. And under options, I can change the height from 500 to 700 and just make it a little bit more, the size that it's supposed to be looked at. Okay. So with that, let's add in a graph. So going forward, let's drop another row in here. So back to layout, and it says drop another row just underneath the statistics cards. Okay, so my statistics cards were up here. I'll grab a row and just drop it in there. And then I think you guessed it, we need to find the graph card somewhere. Probably blue, the chart card, not the graph card, the chart card. Let's grab that and drag it right in here. And so you can see that there's actually different types of graphs that you can make. So the first part again is just to find data. So let's click again on find item, and let's just stick with that stream gauge data. So I'll do a search for live stream gauge. Oh, and I have to put in SRE to kind of narrow it down. Perfect. I'll grab that, I'll select that. And then I can choose what I would like to graph. So it's a little bit, fiddly. Like here's the different types that you can get, and you can tell like it didn't order this here. It would do it a little bit different here, or a scatter plot that actually does order it. You can put in JSON, so you can basically just write your own plots and customize it a little bit more. In our case, let's just put in a pie chart. So what I would like to show is which organization maintains those different gauges. So for category attributes, I just picked organization. And count sounds good to me. It's just a straight on like measure of the number of gauges, not sort of the volume that goes through each one of them. Then under options, I can go ahead and change the chart title. And so let me see how I change that. Contributing agency. And I'm thinking that this is actually starting to look pretty good. I think you guys can take it from there. All right, so let me go ahead and save my hub page. So the next piece, because this graph is taking up a little bit more space perhaps than is needed. So I think it would be nice maybe to put a little survey to the right of it, maybe asking some questions of those different organizations if they're looking at this site. So let me go back to layout to see all the different cards. I'll grab a survey card, drag it in, move it to the right. So now I have my survey options where either you can select a survey that you've already created, or you create a survey. And so one of the things that I did actually for two sites, different sites that I put up, is I put the survey and then a dashboard displaying the survey results just on the same site, which is kind of cool. So when somebody submits a survey, they might even see like numbers on the dashboard on that same site change. All right, so let's go ahead and create a survey. And I know we've done a couple of workshops on survey 1 through 3. And yes, I know I recommended that you guys use survey 1 through 3 Connect rather than the website. But I thought it was pretty cool to just still show you how you can actually create a survey like right as part of this site right here. So we need to browse for an image. You know what? I'm just gonna repurpose my dummy. I can make that just a little. I cannot make it smaller. Okay, there. That's gonna be my picture. So as far as the name goes, let's see where I have that. Okay, I'll just call this Hub Workshop Survey. For description, I'm just gonna keep it short just to keep you moving. For tags, I'll just put in my temp tag. And you can tell it already has the workshop and hub survey in there, so that all looks good to me. So once you set that all up, I can click on next. And then the interface will look very similar to what you may have worked with in the online survey developer. All right, so my favorite pet. So let's just go ahead and actually edit that. So I just clicked on the question. And so this could be, what organization do you work for? And then, we don't need a hint. And then instead of, dog, cat, and monkey, it would be USGS, or DEQ, or perhaps IDWR. Allow other, you can make this a required question. And so there's a lot of options there. And then you can just go ahead if you want to ask more questions. You just go to your Add tab here. And maybe you want to grab their email address. So you can just click that and drag it like straight into the question form and ask them what their email is. What is your email? All right. So once you seem happy with that, then you can save it. If you'd like, you can preview it. And finally, you can publish it. And so I'll just go ahead and hit publish. So this is where I hit a little snag the first time I ran through it, because it's like, fine, it's published. Now what? How do I get back to my main site? So let's wait for this for a second. Okay, so now we need to get back to our hub site. Also, if you wanted to share this survey with the public, you can do it like straight from here. All right, so to get back there, we basically need to work our way back up this tree. So I'll just click on feedback. Okay, and here we are back at my hub site. And my initiative site is that main website that I am working on. And so if all is well, I don't see my survey. This happened to me the first time too. Well, easily fixed because you created the survey. So we'll just drag this over here. And then instead of creating one, we can just simply select it and drop it in there. Done. Okay. So now it gets fun. We're going to put in a gallery. So let's put that underneath this story map here. And let's put it in a row. All right. And then let's grab the gallery card. Not the application. There's my gallery. All right. So this is where having things in groups might come in really handy. Because here you can select groups and it will automatically go into that group and just grab all the content and put it in your gallery. So technically, as you're putting more things into that group, your gallery is gonna grow or shrink if you start taking things out. For now, let's just go ahead and do it manual. So we need to select some data, maps, apps that we can put in there. So I'll just click on select content and let's go back to the world. And I'll do another search for Idaho water and just kind of see what comes up. All right, so there's a web map and just, grab, any 5 that you want. I'll just grab the first 5. Okay, once you grab 5 of them, let's click select and you can see what it does. Okay, so there they are. So right here, a couple of observations. So first off, you can see that the cards are different sizes, right? So those 4 are smaller than this one here. And also maybe at some point you would want to change the thumbnail that goes with it. So I'm sure that those particular maps were never meant for publication, and they're probably part of a web app application, and that application probably has a really nice thumbnail with it. Actually, Water Resources is doing an awesome job keeping their data and their thumbnails, everything nice and tidy and professional looking. So that's all good. All right, but let's see if we can work a little bit on getting, you know, this sized a little bit better. And so when you first start working with this, you might just get kind of frustrated because you're like, oh, there's appearance. Maybe I can, you know, do some things with that. Um, but it's really limited what you can do. You can't really grab any of them and move them around. So the way that we're going to fix this, we're going to keep all 5 of them, but what we're going to do is go back to layout and we're going to put them in 2 rows instead of 1. So I'll grab a row card, put it underneath here. And in this row card, I am also going to put a gallery card. All right. And then for this one, I am going to keep 3, but get rid of the last 2. And then the last 2, I'm going to go over here and put them in here. All right. So let's edit this, and I'll just get rid of 2 of those cards. So that seems a little bit more organized. And then I'll just click on this one, go manual, select content, and pick up those 2 that I may have missed. So I'll just, grab 2 of them. So here are 2 story maps, maybe not the same ones, but you get the idea. All right. So then it's getting a little nicer, but still those cards are not the same size as those cards. And it kind of would look nice if they're all uniform. So this is where spacers become really, really handy. So let's go back to layout and let's grab a spacer card. I'm going to put one on the left-hand side, and I can control the width of those right here. Make them a little smaller. So now we're just a little lopsided. So I'll just go back to my layout, grab another spacer card, put it on the other side. And then make that a little bit smaller. And you basically just want to, let's see, if I make this one a little bit bigger, this one a little bit smaller. You can just kind of fiddle around and just get them the same size as the ones above it. Okay, so we've done the gallery. Okay, so then I think it would be kind of nice, instead of just plopping straight from this story map into this gallery, might be kind of nice to put some text in between here. So back in the layout, I'll just grab another row. I can put it on top here. Yep, and then I can grab a text card like that, and then I can type in some water related maps and apps in Idaho. All right, so I'll just go ahead, highlight it. I think it would be nice if this was centered, and also if this was just a little bit bigger. And I even can drag the bottom part and just size it a little bit better. Now, similarly, if I ever wanted to have like more spaces here and there, I can even put my spacer cards just in here. If you wanted to just kind of give it a little bit of a rest area on the website. So there's a lot of things that you can control. All right, so let's go ahead and save it again, and let's take a look at our preview, see what's happening. Publish the draft, and then go ahead and look at it published. Okay, there we go. There's the web map, the map, the header, and then the gallery at the bottom. Okay, looking good. So let's go back to edit. So I think the last thing that I wanted to do here is add in another page. So right now, this website, really this whole hub is just one page. And so what we can do here is, when you're in your customize mode, I can go ahead and I can add in a new page. Either I can link to an existing page or I can add in a new one. So let me click on that, and then I'll have to give it a name. So I'll just be creative and call it the second page. I'll click next. It's going to be thinking for a little bit, and then my new page pops up. So you can tell it does have the same header, and I know this is kind of hidden back there, but the rest is all different. If you had a footer, it would have the same footer, and you can also tell on the left-hand side that some of your options are gone. So it will copy over the theme colors, it will copy over most of the settings that you have, but you can then go ahead and do what we did earlier and start adding those cards and making changes as you wish. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go save this second page here. I'll save it. I know it's ugly, but don't want to go through and fix this one up right now. I'm going to go publish this draft and then view it published. Okay. And the reason I want to do that is when we go to my organization, I actually would like to have a link like right near the top where I can go to a different page on the same hub site. So I'll take this here and I'll hit Control C rather on my keyboard, so it's copied to my clipboard. I'll just click back on Edit. All right, and then when I go back to my main hub along the top side, I can go back to my main initiative site. There we go. And what I wanted to edit is my header. And oh, it's doing the weird thing because I have it standardized. That looks better. I want to link it. Branding. Nope. Menu. I want to add another link. Okay. To a link. So this is where I can just copy paste the URL to my second page, and I'll just call it the second page. All right, and let's hit save on that. Okay, so this is really the last thing I want to do with this page, and before we start building an entire open data site. Okay, on save changes, let's save it. And then let's publish it. So by the way, I am really looking forward to doing some of those classes in person this fall. It would be really nice to actually see your people in the class and be able to interact more. This seems like a very one-sided lecture, but anyway, time will come. And then let's take a look at this published. So now you can see the header, the link to the gisidaho.gov, and a link where I can go straight to that second page that we just set up as well. So hopefully this will give you like most of the insight here. And with that, let's just go ahead and actually build an open data site. We are on chapter 25 on slide 54 on page 27. Okay, so what we need to do is go back to edit, go back, click on hub, and just click on initiatives. That should get us all the way back out of our site. Okay, and so from here on out, I'll click on new and build another initiative. So this one here I will call Hub Workshop Open Data, and I'll create that initiative. Oh, and I kind of hope that you guys remember to put your initials in there when you did it. Anyway, okay, congrats, it's working. Okay, let's click the X here, and kind of feels like this is where we started, right? And now we're back over here. So let's pick a nice picture here. I'm going to download one more from pixie.org. So if you can do a search on pixie.org for data programming, there we go. And let's just download this picture on the left. But again, pick anything you like. And I'll just call my picture data. All right. So on my hub site, here we go. No, this is the other one. Let's see, this is the one we are working on, the workshop open data. Okay, so to change the picture, I'll just click on my pencil on the right. And on the left-hand side, I should be able to upload this new picture, browse for it. Let's call it data. Okay, I can change the transparency to maybe make my white text stand out a little bit more. I can change my focal point if I wanted to. Actually, this is all good to me. And then let's just go ahead and delete everything else. So we start with a fairly empty hub site. So I'm just going to go down the line and just hit delete on everything. Oh, need to click there. Okay, and then as far as the footer goes, I'm just gonna take that out as well. Okay, so we have a fairly nice, cleaned new site here. Okay, so for the open data site, we need a couple of different cards. So on my layout tab, what I would like to have is a search card that will allow us to search for data. And I'm just gonna put it in there since it's, let's see, I just wanted to put it underneath. There, okay. Didn't want to put it there. Let's see if I can put a row underneath here. Okay, and then let's see if I can move this search card and actually put it in my row. That's what I wanted. Okay, so for the search, let's see what our options are. There's really not a lot of options, and it will do its job. So next, when you look at an open data site, quite often they have those nice categories. And so let's add in some category cards. So I would like to end up with like 4 of them in a row. So let's go back to layout. Would be nice to put those in a row. So I'll just throw a row in first, and then we can put the category cards in there. The category, there's one. All right, so there's 1, 2, and then 3, and the last one, 4. Okay. So let's look at the first one here. So this is where people can click, and it will just basically just do a search for a certain topic. So on the left here, let's say they wanted to look for transportation. So a tag query is pretty good, because here's hoping that anybody who publishes on their open data inside their open data group has anything to do with transportation or roads would actually use the keyword transportation. I mean, another one is you could use the word roads. So far as appearance, you can load up your own icons, or you can actually pick an icon out of a library that they have. And, let's say we'll just pick a bunch of cars. There we go. And instead of category link, we want to search for transportation. Now, for those folks that are part of our organization, if you work for health and welfare, or you work for the Department of Agriculture, or any of the other agencies, I'd be happy to help you set up an open data site, specifically, for data, like authoritative data that you want to share with your agency. It can even have like the gallery on it if you wanted to share specific, maps and apps with the public. So this is a really good way of doing it. I left out Parks and Rec because they already set up their open data site. Okay, so transportation is done. So the next one, let's pick agriculture. So I'm type in agriculture. Then I'll just pick an icon, like to keep them all in the same vein. And I'll just pick some wheat. The next one, let's go ahead and call that recreation. Let's pick an icon. This looks very recreation-y. And then for the last one, let's just pick water. Pick an icon. Like to stay in the same group here. Let me see here. How's a big water drop? Where did that one go? I'm looking at it, I'm not seeing it. Okay, I'm just gonna put this one in for now. There we go. All right, so basically this could be our site. That's all there is to your site, just to keep it nice and simple and sweet. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that. So that basically just leaves us trying to figure out the data behind here, because we got all those nice tools set up now where people can click and get data, but what data? Okay, so for that, we need to go to our groups manager. There's two ways of doing it. So either we can go to our content library and then, add existing content, and then basically just go in and add, a map or an app, like one by one by one by one. But this is where it's really nice if we can do this through groups, where you maintain a group with data, and anytime you put data in there, it sort of filters into this open data site. Or better yet, if you want to use data from other agencies, you can basically link to it as well. So now the other agencies, they basically have to set up a group and say, okay, it is okay to use this as open data. And also as a courtesy, I would say if you're going to link your website to the open data of different agencies, I would just call them up or contact them and say, hey, I'm planning to connect your open data group to my site, so they are aware and they're not just going anywhere and then running into their own data. Okay, so instead of just adding this, one by one by one by one, what you can do is go to your groups manager, and then you can add in a group. So this has to be an open data group, and I'll just uncheck my organization. So now I am searching like everywhere, and I'll just search for Idaho and see what pops up. So I'm sure a lot of those names look familiar to you. I mean, the Idaho Department of Parks and Rec is actually an open data site on our site. DEQ has an open data site. The Tax Commission has some open data enabled folders. Let me see, I think, transportation has one. Let me just add those in here first. Okay, and I bet if I type in Idaho transportation, the one that ITD manages pops up, so let's add that in. And actually Water Resources has theirs really nicely organized, and they, instead of having one open data group, they actually have different groups for like different topics within all the data that Water Resources has. So if you want to check out, make sure that irrigation is actually the Department of Water Resources. You can click on the link here, and I can tell that this is the right organization. And like I said, they did a really, really nice job with all their logos and branding. Okay, so let's go back to, let me see where I'm at. Okay, come on, move up. My WebEx tools are in front of my, there we go. Nope, that's not that one. Sorry. Have to wait for my tools to decide to hide up again. Or I can just grab this and just go there. There, here we are. Okay, so that's the right one, and I'll just add that one in there. Okay, so now when I go to my library, I will be disappointed because I don't see any of the data in there. I kind of hope that all the data from those different groups would sort of automatically poured into my content library now. It does not. We have to go through an extra step. And there are more actions. We can check for content updates. And this is where it should go in and actually start loading up those data sets. There we go. Content updates in progress. All right, so let me refresh this page and see if there's any data. All right, data. There we go. So you can tell it picked up some data sets from DEQ. Taxing districts would be from the Tax Commission. So now I have all this data here. And with that in place, let me go to the initiative site. Let me publish it and let's just try out our new open data site. Okay, so yep, it's published. Let me make sure it's also saved. Save, publish.
I'm not sure if you were speaking, but you've been on mute.
For how long? Okay, this better?
That's a lot better.
Oh my goodness, how long have I been on mute?
A couple of minutes.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's not good. Okay. Well, hopefully just the pictures themselves kind of helped out, but no, it's better when you can hear me for sure. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so I was just gonna say, let's just view our open data sites published and let's give it a try. So if I were to type in water, you can see a whole slew of water-related data just shows up. And I did notice that just very recently they changed the open data setup. So for example, let's take a look at the season of use, and they just changed this interface here. Everything is still there. I just find it just a little bit harder to find, but you can still download it, view the map. Somewhere you can find the APIs. So it's all still there. So that's how you set up an open data site. That just leaves me to the last little bit here, which is actually the collaboration tools. So with that, let me just pull up a site that I built yesterday. So I need to go back to my hub and show you some of those features. So those are the two that I just built today with you. Here is my community engagement. So this is where we get into the more social cards. So for this one here, I pulled in one of those follow cards. Search, social media, follow initiative. So I pulled in one of those. Let's just get rid of this one here. Remove. And when I edit it, it basically tells me if I want to follow or unfollow this. So let's go ahead and follow. The next one is the featured people. If you want to show who else is participating in this initiative. So that is a people card. So that would be right here. The person card, and then you can go in and actually select people. So right here we have a difference. It says here my community, of my organization rather. So those are all the people that are a member that have a creator or viewer license within the State of Idaho organizational account, which is the one that we manage here at ITS, which has like 20 different agencies that are part of it. The world is everybody. My community, those are the licenses that people get through the hub. And so what happened is when you buy Hub Premium, you get 100 hub licenses. And so the benefit would be is those people, their creator licenses. So that means that they can create some stuff, they can edit surveys, but you can also share information with them in a group and therefore keeping it private. And you can tell to few community members with your private profile, you must sign into the community organization. So let me do that. So it's kind of weird because you're used to seeing your own organization, and this Hub Premium is in essence almost like a separate organization with very heavy ties into your main organization. And so let me sign into that. So if I go back to Arcgis Online and I sign in, but instead of signing in with my regular account, I sign in with my Hub account, so the one that belongs to this sort of separate organization. It will look very familiar. I mean, I have the same headers, the same tabs, the same everything. And so if I want to organize my members, I do that right there. So right now I have 127 members. A whole bunch of them are working with us because they're working on the strategic plan with us. Some of them, I honestly don't know who they are, which worries me a little bit because I really would like people to go through me when they set up things here. But when I look at my licenses, you can tell, user types, you can tell that I have 1,100 licenses. And so 100 came with the premium. And then the Idaho Department of Parks and Recreation actually purchased the other 1,000 licenses. Like you have to buy them in blocks of 1,000 for $1,000. So then they're technically just $1 a piece. Now, before you start thinking that you can assign one to everybody in your organization and get rid of your regular, $200 to $500 creator licenses, it goes to the intention of your hub. So if this is a community collaboration, so for example, the whole vaccine outreach, vaccination planning, that was a whole community project, that was an initiative. Let's say for water resources, if you want to engage with water masters and have them collect data or just look at specific data, you're working with the community, and that would be very acceptable. If this is just for sharing data within your own agency, then that's not really what it is intended for. Like John from Esri says, they're not going to send down the Esri police and put you in Esri jail, but it's not intended for that use. Okay, and so if I have new members, the way I would like to add them in is just add them in here. Just invite them and move them in here. So groups, there are groups that are related to the different sites. And so let's see if I can sort those by date modified. Let's see, does the date go up? Okay, when I go back to my hub site here, I can find my teams. Let's see. Oh, I have unsaved changes. Let me just save that real quick. I can set up teams that are associated with this hub community. And so their groups are automatically set up through the hub. And this is actually a group that shows up again in my main organization. Like they're really just very tightly put together. All right, some of the different cards. We did the groups, the cards. Oh, here, let me go back to the initiative site. Okay, so the featured people, events. We can go ahead and create events. So if I go to my main hub site, I can click on events, hub members only. Okay. And this happened because I am now signed in with my hub account rather than my regular account. So I need to sign out of this. It's kind of confusing at times, like now I need this account, now I need that account. And this is the case for me because I'm the administrator of both sites. If you're just a user, you will only have, one account. So let me sign back in here. There we go. All right, then let's just refresh that. Nope, I don't want to get the 404 error. There we go. I'm back to editing. All right, so I was saying we can go and look at events, or even within our own initiative, we can go look at events. And so for this one, I just set up the Independence Day event. And the way I did that is I click on New, and I go to Event, and that will just basically just give me a whole list of things for me to fill out, a picture, where it is, and all that good stuff. So let me X out of that. And so this is the event that I set up. And so when I go back to my site, I can go in and for my layout, I can grab an event card, which is a calendar, upcoming events. I can put that in there. And it will just basically just tie that right in. So here I can select the initiative that those events are tied to. If I want it, I can select other initiatives, and if there's any events associated with that, I can find those. So for example, we've been working on our strategic plan right here. There might be some events that are associated with that. Didn't want to go there. I just wanted to show you. Need to put the bubble in, select, and we can see if there's any other events that would show up. And then what I did here as well, I had a featured event. And so I just grabbed the featured event card, moved it in. All right, then I selected an event, for example, Independence Day. And then it just pops up as an event. So you can see how those tools are really, really geared towards community engagement and collaborating with people. And I believe that that is the community part that I wanted to show you right here. If I wanted to add members to a team, so let's say that I just wanted to very securely share just this site and this content with a team, I would just go in here to Teams, and I can just add in the members that I wanted to. Oh, here's my team. Then I can add people into it. Additionally, I can email everybody that's part of this team and just email them all at the same time. So it has those collaboration tools right in there. So with that, let's go back to the PowerPoint. And we are very close to the end here. So we've done the collaboration, and this is slideshow from current slides. So all that is left to do is give you another plug for this Learn ArcGIS website, which is actually also a hub that they built. And then upcoming future classes, we are almost through our series. I believe this was the 8th class, so there's 2 left. And so I am planning to repeat those classes in the fall, hopefully in person. And so hopefully you guys are interested to, maybe do this in person and talk about GIS a little bit more. So that's it. Also, anytime you have a GIS question, you know where to find me. So with that, I'm done. Thank you so much for joining me. All right. Thank you guys. Bye.